and he kept in touch with her. I mean, Sheila makes a rolling 12 a good 80,000 more or less. Samir as an RVP overrides that by 80,000 a year. Think about that. That's an $80,000 recruit for the year that that he obviously has worked on, he's followed up with, but Sheila in general was a great quality recruit. But Samir did his part and followed up with her too. So think about that, right? What kind of person do you have to be to even attract a Sheila? Samir is well groomed. He is well dressed. He speaks well. He works on his mentality. Those are things that we have to do in order to even attract a Sheila Bustamante, right? I would love to override 80,000 on one person. That's amazing. Samir can go to Hawaii and Sheila will still run her business because it's her business. That's so cool. That's so cool to me. So get your securities license, guys, and get independent, so you can teach other people. So let me just show you what a productive day looks like. I think that when we talk a lot of numbers, some people, it kind of goes through your one ear and out the other, and you don't really visually see it. So these are 2 days out of the last 7 days that I just picked out. It was just random days I picked out. It wasn't like the 2 best days or anything, but this is just my regular day, Monday to Friday, typically. So a lot of people, they think that they're working, but all they're really doing is thinking about working. And then they get tired because all they've been doing is thinking all day, right? But they haven't really been working. So when you actually work the business, this is what it looks like. And this is not even full-time hours, guys. If you think about it, one day, day one, whatever day it is, I got one prospect that takes 10 seconds, I booked 6 invites for the webinar and booked a QA that it took me an hour and a half of calls, which you see I only made 24 calls that day. Throughout my calls, I got 7 referrals. I did half of a fast start meeting because I break down my fast start meeting in 2 parts. So that was 1 hour of work. And then I got a $20 app at the end of the day. That took me 30 minutes or less. And I'm just overshooting the numbers. So I probably worked less hours in this. But think about that. That's an hour and a half here, an hour and a half there. That's 3 hours plus maybe the prospect and maybe some other things that I've done, but that's only 3 hours of work in the whole freaking day, guys, in the whole day. So if you're not doing that activity, you're working less than that, if not zero. And that's why you don't get the results you want to get, right? Another day, one prospect. Again, it takes 10 seconds. I booked 4 QAs, 1 invite, and a booked one-on-one. That took me an hour. 3 referrals. I did 1 follow-up, which took me 20 minutes right after a webinar. I did 1 carryback, which took me almost an hour. Throughout the day, I made 17 calls, which, caused all that activity to happen. From the carryback, I got a $400 pack, and then I got a $99 app from a follow-up with one of my clients. That took me at least 30 minutes or less. And so if you think about that, that's only 30 minutes plus an hour, another 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. That's 2 hours right there. That's 3 hours. This is eye-opening to me to even talk to you guys about, because that's another 3 hours just for the day, right? What does Shaq say all the time? Protect your 3 hours, your first 3 hours in the day. All you need is 3 hours a day, guys. This is me working full-time. You guys could get away with working just 1 hour and still book your week out, because most of you guys, if you're not a trainer, your trainer's running the meetings for you. All you have to do is set up your schedule, right? But look, if you look at these numbers, are you doing this? And if you're not, why not? And let's talk about something, that sounds corny, but in the real world, they don't talk about this. They don't ask about your goals. What is your why? Why are you here? Why did you even sign your IBA? And why did you even stay, right? Some people sign their IBA as a favor to other people. That's okay. And then they decided, oh, wow, this is pretty cool. I want to give it a real shot, right? Why did you give it a real shot? Like, why are you even here? What promises did you make to other people, right? When I came in, I promised my mom that I would retire her. Now that I've done that, I promised her I'll get her house. And I'm working on a condo now for her, right? So you got to remind yourself what the next goal is at all times so that it keeps you going. Because if you're just going to work day to day without an end goal in mind, it kind of gets boring, guys. And then you're like, oh, why am I even doing this, right? When I'm working, when you see these numbers behind closed doors, in my brain, I'm like, okay, I'm working towards this house that I want to get for my mom. What are you guys working towards? What do you want? Because if it's not a job that's going to help you get there, then this obviously can help you if you just work it, right? So let's talk about these referrals. I was searching up, well, Thomas helped me do this actually. Let me give him the credit he deserves. And you guys may or may not know this, but Ratna Kong, who works directly with Shaq, she's used all her passive income and Primerica income to start her own business outside of Primerica now, which is pretty cool. She has her own catering, a charcuterie business. And she was the one that taught me how to get referrals on a consistent basis. And a lot of it were intangible things, such as how you treat your client and everything else that Sheila went over. And one of the questions she asked she went over in her training that she asked her clients is, if you were to think back on some conversations, Mr. and Mrs. Client, you've had with your friends or family, what do you believe are the top 2 concerns they are having? And if you think about it, the only thing that I can think of that my friends are really concerned of in life are 1, relationships, and 2, money, or first money and then relationships. But those are the only 2 top concerns that I really can think that my friends have really maybe complained about or conversed with me about. I'm not a marriage counselor, relationship psychologist, or anything like that, but I can help you with your money. So if you ask that question, think about your friends and family. They already basically gave you a referral without even trying. You got a referral without even trying. You can literally ask this at a birthday party and get a referral just from there. That's a really cool question I thought that I should put in. But when you ask for referrals, right? And I thought about why some people don't do this. Because one thing is, okay, you do it. The people who do it, okay, you're starting to get results. You're starting to get names and numbers, and you're starting to get better, right? I love it when I see that Shug got 10 referrals or taught her girl to get 10 referrals in the field as the trainee and asked for it. But you know why Shug can do that? Because they do feel comfortable with Shug. Shug did answer all the questions regardless of whether or not they asked them. Shug did provide value. The only reason why somebody would not ask these questions to their client is if they know they did not do a good job presenting and they're scared to hear that other answer. No, you didn't make me feel comfortable. No, you didn't answer all my questions. No, you didn't give me any value that other people should learn. The only reason why you'd be confident asking this is if you have a winning presentation and you actually worked on your presentation and you did a great job, and you know you do a great job because you know you can ask this, right? So when you get in front of a client and you start to do quotes, you want to ask, did you feel comfortable with the way that I presented myself? Hopefully the client says yes. Did I answer all your questions, Gabrielle, regardless of whether or not you asked them? Yeah, you did. You did a great job. And Gabrielle, did you learn any value that you feel other families need to know about? Absolutely. Yes, every family needs to know this. This is so important. Okay. And now you set up the floor, guys, to be able to ask for the referrals, because now you've gotten what's called yes momentum. Throughout your presentation, you want to get what's called yes momentum. And as they are watching you and hearing you with your expertise of what you know, and you're going smoothly through the presentation and there's no hiccups, you're not saying here and there, and you're answering all their questions, right? Even if they do ask questions, now you just earn the credibility to ask, to get a yes from your clients, right? Again, it goes back to credibility. So just keep asking these questions, guys. When I wasn't getting referrals, it's because I wasn't asking for them. You don't get what you don't ask for. So, and you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. What's the worst that can happen? They say, I don't know anybody. And then you just have to overcome that objection. What if you do have to overcome that objection? Will that help you with your skill set? The more you have to learn to overcome that objection, of course, right? So everything is on the other side of you doing more activity. Everything good is going to happen on the other side of you doing more activity. Objections are not bad, guys. If you do get a no, figure out why. Hector Lamarck on his audio says, if he doesn't get business, he always asks the client, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Client, if you don't mind me asking, just so that I don't make the same mistake with another family, can you, if you don't mind, telling me what I could have done better to earn your business, right? Because clearly I didn't do a good job explaining things. You got to ask that, right? That way you can get better for the next family or even the next recruit you're training. All right, let's talk about independence really quick. Sheila, I don't know if you want me to go over this first or you want to follow up with me.
You can go ahead and you can, because you are amazing at this. So go ahead.
Girl, bye. Okay, so Sheila's independent too. She just doesn't want to start anything. It's okay. I'll start it and Sheila can finish it, right? That's how we work. But so training people, guys, is monotonous, meaning boring. Okay. And I didn't want to put boring on here because I don't want you guys to not be excited to train people, but it's true. Hector says in his audio again that training people, it's not fun, it's not exciting, and it takes time. And that's why a lot of us are not duplicating because we don't have some people are leaders, some of our leaders are really lazy and they don't have the patience to deal with, people to learn, right? But there's a reason why Joey learned how to present on her own because I took the time to invest in her and believed in her, right? You got to debrief with your trainee after an appointment. You want to make sure that you figure out, and this came from Bruce, guys, by the way. I didn't just come up with it amazingly. I got it from Bruce. Again, another adjustment I made. He said, debrief with your trainee, figure out what they learned. If your trainee cannot repeat back to you what you said, they don't get it. If they cannot repeat back to you what you said to either them or the client, they do not get it. Debrief with your trainee. Hey, what are 3 things that you learned, Chantal, Emmanuel? They got to need to tell you. What are 3 things that they learned at least? Or else they're not paying attention. And some people, they complain, they're like, oh my God, I got to repeat the same thing over to this person. Okay, there's a balance between having to tell somebody the same thing over and over and over again, and you've repeated it 10 times the same way. There's nothing you can do to help that person. But if you got to repeat it like 2 or 3 times, maybe different ways, because the first time, second time, they, maybe they don't pick up as fast. Bill Whittle said, hey, at least you have people to repeat things to. If you are not repeating things to anyone, you don't have any people. It's just yourself, right? And that's not fun. So the positive part is at least you have people to repeat things to. When I was in training, the way that I got independent, again, back to how I can help you guys here figure out why you're not as independent or your guys under you are not as independent. My original trainer took me on 9 training appointments in 28 days. So in 28 days, I went on 9 training appointments. Mind you, I was working 80 hours a week at 2 jobs, 80 hours a week at 2 jobs. I literally only had Sunday for half the day available and some hours on Saturday before I went to my evening shift after training. He had to squeeze all those hours out of me that, I had. And I was tired. I was tired of being on my feet for those 2 jobs. And he had the guts to ask me to give up my free time to go on these appointments throughout the month. And I went on 9 of them. Think about what I just said. My trainer had the guts to ask me to give up the little time, the free time that I had. And I was already tired. If he had not done that, I would not have retired my mother. Think about that, right? You gotta care so much about your trainee where you call them out on their excuses. Because people, they're looking for somebody to lead them. But some people, they don't know what that feels like. So when you start calling them out on their BS, they're going to fight you at first. But if you don't call them out, you don't care, right? Hey, if your trainer doesn't call you out on things, they don't care. I'm just telling you right now. They care more about what you think versus what results in what better person you can become here. One of the referrals that I saw, or one of the clients that I had in my training, that should say clients, not referrals. One of the clients, which was my mom, turned into a close. And then one of her 17 referrals, my mother gave me 17 referrals. Listen to this. One of the referrals that she gave me turned into a close that same exact day. So when I sat down with my trainer, with my mom, it was a 30-minute presentation before my mom started feeding him chicken and rice for the next 3 hours. Okay, so the appointment was actually 30 minutes, and then my mom started feeding him. And us Asians, right, Sheila? We'll feed our guests all day long. Like, you're not leaving until you eat my food, right?
That's true.
Yeah, and so Dustin's sitting there eating chicken and rice with my mom for 3 hours straight, and he got 17 referrals from my mom. I don't know about you guys, but as a new person sitting there, all of a sudden a light bulb came off. This is why you want to get good at referrals. As a new person, my light bulb came off. It went off. I said, wow, I put my trainer in front of the one person I did not want him to meet, and it turned into 17 new names and numbers that I did not have in the beginning. That's really cool. So if I put my trainer in front of another person I know, that can turn into another 17 referrals. And that's almost 40 referrals that I did not have to do any work for. My trainer did it for me. The light bulb went off, guys. Now, the most referrals I got was that one first appointment, but the average appointment that we did gave us 3 to 5 referrals. And I watched him do the same thing over and over and over again, not changing not one thing. He didn't change one thing, or the whole system was the same every single appointment. The presentation was the same every single appointment. The referral questions were the same every single appointment. And then, then you guys see me now. But I love feeling every time that I was with him, I was moving forward, learning something new every day, every time. He would teach me another page in the presentation. He would teach me a new concept. He would teach me a new script. And I always got at least one new nugget. When your trainee is with you, are they learning new things? That's why I always ask the people that always work with me directly, what are 3 things that you learned today? Because if you don't learn anything, either you weren't paying attention or I was not doing a good job training you, right? I wanted to figure out what I didn't know, not tell my trainer what I did know. A lot of us, we're so worried about telling our trainers what we know. Like, I know this, I know that, I know what to do. We know what you know, okay? You know what you know. But the problem is what you know already has only gotten you so far. So you got to figure out what you don't know. I was really good at trying to figure out from my trainers, right? Since I surpassed my first trainer, what I did not know. When I got transferred to my next trainer, and a lot of you guys don't know this, but a man named Ricardo trained me second. I got transferred to him, and he was so different from Dustin. Listen to what I'm about to say. Dustin, my original trainer, was a lot like me. He was really high energy. He was very, like upbeat all the time. And it was like every single time I was with him, I felt really like encouraged and I felt really uplifted. And he just motivated me a lot, right? I felt motivated. But then when I got to my second trainer, he wasn't like Dustin at all, and not in a bad way, but he was just the opposite from me and Dustin. He was very introverted. He was not outroverted. He was very socially awkward, in my opinion, right? And he didn't talk. He didn't start the conversation. He let me do all the talking. And I was like, why doesn't this guy talk, right? And I had to extract what he knew that I didn't know. I purposely built a relationship with my trainer so that I could get to know him and what I didn't know that he knew. It didn't matter if that trainer was not as, he didn't try to give me all these motivating sayings like my first trainer did. It didn't matter. I was looking to make money. I wasn't looking to feel good. I was looking to make money, right? And so I started asking my trainer, hey, this or that, how do you do this? How do you do that? And I was purposely trying to figure out again what I didn't know. And I learned to press submit 20 times in a month. One of the incentives that I qualified for, you want to qualify for incentives because this is where the money is really, and the new nuggets you're going to learn, was Blake Whittle, who is Bill Whittle's son. And Blake Whittle is a 6-figure earner. In the training that he did for us, for the qualifiers, he said, just press submit 20 times in a month and you'll never have a money issue. That was the one nugget I got. And from then on, I learned to submit 20 times in a month. Press submit 20 times in a month. That's only 5 times a week, guys. Monday to Friday. Think about it. That's all it is. That's all you have to do. It's not complicated. Sheila, anything you want to add? How did you get independent?
So I think, the one thing that I have always said, right, in my mind is the fact that I really do care, that our business does care for our people, and which is why we don't sell trash value to begin with. I was always in my mind saying that if I was in a predicament where I thought that what I had with the company I was before, let's say I had a trash value, right? I would really want to know, that this is not favorable to me. Okay. And I see this over and over and over and over again. I feel like if like I said, if I was in that predicament, I would want somebody to tell me. I would want somebody to to educate me. And that's why for me, I started recruiting people, because again, these other companies are growing, they're making